Hey guys, welcome to View from the Cheap Seats. It's the Sklar brothers, our look at the week in sports, aka the WEAK in sports, the week in stuff. And oh my God, do we have some weak stuff?
We got some weak ass shit.
We do. We're going to talk. We're going to talk in our quick hit section about the Georgia football team not being able to drive, even though they can drive on the field. Mm-hmm. We are going to talk about Hitler references at the
U.S. Open,
and among many other things. But the discussion goes deep into the NFL season because we're on the precipice of it right now as we record. First game start on a Wednesday. The first game starts tomorrow night. When it drops, the first game was last night, if you can understand time travel. Mm-hmm. But this weekend is the majority of games.
The slate of week one of the NFL.
I just drafted my fantasy team.
So did I.
Did too. We'll get into all of that. And our guest on the show is a fantastic mind and a fantastic voice in the world of football from the great podcast, Sorry We Love Football, Danny Solomon. 3 guys on that podcast. We're going to have each of them on at various points in the season because he's a Kansas City Chiefs fan. And
he is the reigning world champ.
We allow him to gloat.
It is his championship to lose.
It's his
now.
world. We're all just living in it. We allow him to wear 2 pieces of Kansas City merch when he comes on this show.
That's how generous we are.
It's a great discussion. But first, Jay, did you watch the U.S. Open last night? Ben, don't call me Blake Shelton, who reminds me of Blake Griffin.
Yes.
I added the Blake, but it's not even right. Ben Shelton versus Francis Tiafoe. Did you watch that quarterfinal?
I didn't get to watch all of it.
It was unbelievable.
Exciting and also exciting. I know what happened. I mean, I followed it, so I
watched a lot of it. Ben Shelton is amazing. He is electric. He's incredible. His serve, he can serve it up to almost 150 miles an hour. He's a lefty. My fear is he's going to injure himself.
Right.
He's like Max Scherzer. He like everything.
Or like Strasburg.
Not Strasburg. He's like Scherzer because everything comes so hard.
Yeah.
But he's got this left-handed swing that's incredible. He can hit his forehand like 110 miles an hour.
Yeah.
He is amazing. Now, Tiafoe's great too. Tiafoe can move around and he's really good. But you see the limitations of tennis. Like I would say right now, Tiafoe's a better tennis player than Shelton. He's older. He's like 28 years old and Shelton's only 20. He's older, but Shelton has more potential. You see what he can do. Now, Shelton is going to get destroyed by Djokovic.
Yeah.
He's going to destroy him so much that like Shelton's going to maybe think about not getting the vaccine moving forward. That's how bad it is.
But it is exciting no matter what. So I'll talk about it by looking at this bracket.
Fritz lost. He was the other U.S. He's the highest ranked U.S. player. He's ranked 9th. Okay. And Tiafoe's ranked 10th. And Shelton is now going to be ranked.
He's going to be ranked.
And Eubanks is a great player. You now have 4 Americans in the top 50. And there might be one other. The Americans in the top 50. And Shelton might be the most exciting out of all of them.
And for us to have an American in the semifinals at the U.S. Open.
This is what we were begging for.
The crowd is going to be wild. Of course, Djokovic is going to win.
Of course he's going to win.
It's going to be Djokovic, Alcaraz. That's just what it is.
Which, by the way, will be an amazing final.
Exciting. And it allows you as a U.S. tennis fan, as people who grew up loving the stars, the Jimmy Connors, the McEnroes,
Connors, Chang, Courier, Sampras, Agassi. I mean, like up to Roddick. We had such a great run of all those American players.
And then we've been bone dry for 15, 17 years.
So it is an exciting time. Whether or not these guys break through in the next few years, and I think Alcaraz is going to, once Alcaraz beats Djokovic, I think he's going to beat him on this surface. Maybe Djokovic has one last gasp, but I believe Djokovic is, the torch is going to be passed.
Well, for someone like Shelton, and as Alcaraz is here to stay for a while.
But in the next 2 years, also on the women's side, Madison Keys has a shot because Sabalenka's a little bit, or not Sabalenka, the girl who won the Wimbledon. I'm not going to get Vidrugova or whatever it is. Yeah. Vidrugova. She's got a shoulder issue, so Madison Keys might make it in the semis. Coco Gauff is in the semis. This is an exciting time for American tennis right now. I'm excited. I haven't been this excited this late in a U.S. Open for so long.
That's right.
I'm saying this is a wonderful time, and a lot of times on this show we talk smack about
we call it out when we feel like the United States is lagging and lacking and on the international stage.
I could not be more excited now.
So I'm going to say this, as we are in the week 2 of college football, week 1 of the NFL, our attention, even if briefly, is going
Top
to be
take
focused.
of this show is the U.S. Open.
That tells you that tennis is back. Tennis is alive in the United States.
Baby!
Let's
And
go.
Shelton's got very emotional. He's very fun to watch. So I highly recommend, if you haven't seen Ben Shelton, watch
him in the
this kid.
semifinals against Djokovic.
He's got
Or would
the
it have
smile
been-
that he's got the
would it
smile
have
that
been
lit
last-
up late night.
Would
He's
it
the
have
only
been the
person.
last night, or when is it happening? I'm gonna.
I don't know. It's this weekend, but whatever. I mean, I think he's going to lose to Djokovic, but who cares? This kid's made it far. He's made it into our hearts. I love it. Let's take a break. When we come back, Danny Solomon from Sorry We Love Football. We're going to talk the Kansas City Chiefs, allow him to do a victory lap, and then get into the season. You might be surprised at who he thinks is a sleeper team and who we do too. It's View from the Cheap Seats. Don't go anywhere. We got NFL talk coming on the other side of the break. Hey guys, welcome back to the show. As promised, we are so excited to have this gentleman on right now to speak about the NFL season that's about to come. We just did his podcast, Sorry We Love Football. What a great name for a podcast, and what a great podcast. If you are a football fan and looking for a new one to sort of check into, I just love the takes that you and Daniel and Jamel do. Just great stuff. Danny Solomon, welcome to the show, buddy.
Thank you so much. That's about as good of an intro as I'll ever get.
There you
That's
go.
good. You earned it, my friend.
You
we
showed up in like full Kansas City fan gear.
regalia.
Okay.
Embarrassingly so.
No,
You're wearing
allowed.
a Super Bowl champion hat, which, I mean, I get why you love it. I
That
will
should
tell
be
you
one.
that
You can wear that to a funeral, by the way.
No.
And I will.
in Kansas City.
Your own.
Your own.
Yeah.
Open casket. No, I think that
God willing.
God,
no.
God willing.
Why, you're expecting your family to scatter your ashes?
Yeah, I know. I
Over
mean,
Arrowhead Field.
No one will respect your wishes to be
That's true. Is that
buried in a Len Dawson jersey.
is that a legal thing, by the way? Is that legally binding?
Yes.
They have to bury you the way that you want?
I mean, if it's written down,
All right.
who's gonna though complain?
It's not like a
Who's gonna go back in the ocean and retrieve your ashes?
So that hat,
hard.
that hat to anyone who isn't a fan of that team is hideous. I'm just going to tell you it. There's always too much shit on the hat. There's always too many design colors going on.
Like if Mac Lethal were here, if Rob Riggle were here,
If Paul Rudd were here.
if David Koechner were here, they would be ecstatic over the fact that you were
if Ted
wearing.
Lasso were here.
Yeah.
Tech 9?
Tech 9.
Tech
If
9.
Tech 7 were here.
Tech 8 and Tech 10, if all of them were here,
All the techs were here.
they would be dancing for joy with their Super Bowl hat. You have it. You have reason to be proud. You have reason to have optimism.
Which is why we had you come on first, because we're going to have each of you guys. Again, I cannot stress enough how impressed we were. You guys came into your podcast with preseason football takes. And I'm talking like
Real
not
takes.
just I watched this show. What is the thing you hated the most about it? And then a beautifully written and beautifully, executed take about it.
So, as a football fan, as a Chiefs fan, let me take your temperature going into Game 1.
Well, talk to me about the Kelsey scenario and how the game is gonna. So this drops on Friday. So the game happened, quote unquote, last night, but we're recording on Wednesday. Full disclosure. Talk to me. Like, how are you feeling? Obviously doesn't matter really because it's just the
you can
first
drop
game.
games in the NFL.
Yeah, that's the thing I've learned over the years. It's a long season. You can't really feel anything for the first 4 weeks, or else you're really going to be too stressed. You won't be able to last a
It's a marathon.
17-game schedule.
It's a marathon.
Yeah.
You could have done it with 16, but not 17.
No, that last one really made this one obsolete, thankfully,
That's the
because
straw that.
I think Kelsey's coming back eventually. He will not play in this game.
No way.
I
No
beg
way.
the trainers to not allow him to play in this game.
Don't need it.
We need him too much. We don't have Chris Jones also.
Yeah.
We're starting to get down on good players, like top tier players on the team. That said, we have the man himself, Patrick Mahomes, who can do anything. He's made me believe in love.
Shit.
Bath
That
bombs.
even my wife couldn't do that. He's really...
And I'm sure when you told her that, she took that the right
loved
way.
it.
She knows. She
got
knows.
it.
She knew what she was getting.
Honey,
You're like,
Pat's
honey,
on.
not in front of Pat.
I mean, if he wanted to get married,
If he wanted to have sex with your wife, would you let it happen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
I hope she doesn't hear that.
So I don't even know how old you are. I'm assuming you're 36 years old. Am
You're
I?
very close. 39.
39.
Yeah.
Okay. So you weren't alive during like peak George Brett era Kansas City Royals because to me he was probably the biggest Kansas City sports star
who had shit his pants in Las Vegas.
Right. That's right.
On the map.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's how I knew him.
He was the guy. And so then you kind of go back through because the Kansas City Royals teams from in 14 and 15. I mean, I love Eric Hosmer, and I loved, your
Moustakis.
I love Moustakis. I love Hosmer. I love
Lorenzo Locane.
Locane. They're
probably
good.
the best one.
But they're not super. That was a great team.
Yes.
That wasn't filled with a superstar. In Patrick Mahomes, you have
the Steph Curry of football.
He's the best player athlete
at the most important position
to represent Kansas City, maybe of all time.
I'm getting a rush of endorphins just listening.
As fans. So what do we
forget, guys? Though they did have Bo Jackson.
They did have
for
Bo
a
Jackson.
hot minute, for a cup of coffee.
He was
didn't
amazing.
win. But he didn't win World Series with them. So
Thank you.
Thank you, Aaron, our
That's a good
producer.
point.
He did do amazing things on the baseball diamond. But
he was exciting.
He was exciting, but there's a thing about the NFL. I still think the NFL is the most important league of all professional sports. NBA making a run at it, but I still think there is nothing bigger than the NFL.
Because the games are huge.
There's
less
one a
of
week.
them.
I mean, the ratings say it all.
Right.
It's just, it absolutely dwarfs anything the NBA is doing, even in the finals.
Too many games in the NBA.
Yeah.
Too many games in the NBA. Like, if you want to get just straight up talk about the NBA playoffs, that's another thing.
Sure.
But the actual regular season NFL means so much. It means, even though we kind of downplayed this first game,
Right.
but like
Well,
It still means something. Every week you get it once a week, and then I guess the rhythm of the weeks means something too. So you have game on Sunday or Monday, or in this case Thursday, and then you have 3 or 4 days of analysis of what just happened.
Right.
Then you have
looking
3 or 4
forward.
days of what is going to come.
injury reports looking for. I mean,
And so you're in this cycle of like half week looking back at what was, then starting in the middle of the week looking at what is, and that consumes a whole week around one event.
but 3 Super Bowls in 4 years.
4?
had gone to three
Gone to,
Super
I know, I'm
Bowls.
saying
Say, yes.
one,
That's
win,
nice. Yeah.
two wins, gone to 3 in 4 years, championship game 5 years in a row. Is that
At
right?
Arrowhead 5 years in a row.
At Arrowhead
Yeah.
5 years in a row. I think we can talk about this team as a dynasty. Absolutely. You have similar one coach all the way through. You've
One
got
QB all the way through.
all the way through. So, I mean, it is amazing. And as St. Louis guys, even though we're still upset about the Royals being gifted a World
Literally
Series in
stole a
1985
World Series in
from Don
85.
Denkinger.
Stole it straight away from us.
As a fan of small market teams winning, even I could be excited about like the Milwaukee Bucks winning the NBA championship.
That was fun.
So I'm excited when a small market team wins because we have friends in Kansas City. We know people in Kansas City. It's everything.
It's all they have, yeah. And I share in the bliss because even though I wasn't there, you see the videos and you're like, I know exactly what these,
Q39
moderate.
must be popping right
It's
now.
hot. I mean, every night.
Sure.
The people know.
Thank you.
But yeah, these
If you know, you know.
these moderately to extremely obese people are having the time of their
Just
lives.
loving it.
And I go back and that's when I buy all my stuff.
Sugar levels spiking.
Yes, yeah. I mean, it's a bad time for diabetes.
Negro Leagues Museum full.
Yeah. And that actually in Kansas City is where I got this hat. We don't mind a well-adorned hat.
No, look, I'm not saying it's a bad hat.
Saying to anyone who isn't,
I'm saying to somebody, like if you showed that to someone on Project Runway, they'd
Sure.
say that's a little too costumey.
Well, Kristen Siriano doesn't
Yes.
know how
Yeah.
how much meaning
she
there is
doesn't.
to this.
No, she doesn't.
No, he doesn't. But also, can we just put this in a context, and I know you'll appreciate this, of the level of quarterback play that exists in the NFL right now. You're not just doing it as like there are two guys. And
No,
this is
if
it.
if you were in a NFL fantasy football draft in this last few days, which a lot of people who listen to this podcast probably were, you understand that you had many cracks at a good QB to lead your team. Many.
So I want to, because I know you just did yours, right? You just did your.
Oh, we're breaking them out.
But I'm going to break mine out and I want to read you my players and I want you to guess because what I did was, in many years, I will draft myself and be like, this was amazing, but I'll take the quarterback in the 3rd round or 4th round.
As a rule.
No, just I'm like, if this good quarterback's on the board, why would I not want 30 points every week?
Right, yes.
Like, I never understood that. And so, but I said, when I auto draft, I'm just going to auto draft. Here's who my team is, who I got auto drafted in this league. Deshaun Watson, happy ending, number 1. That's my quarterback.
35 women can't be right.
35. He had averages 19 points and 35 happy endings a week. Tyreek Hill.
That's a great get.
This is like my all anti-women team.
That's a tough one too, morally.
kicked
But
a
other than
woman-
that,
if you kicked a woman, auto draft is on board.
I guess auto draft has no problem with morality.
that's AI, all of AI, really.
Thank you. This
Yeah.
is a referendum on AI's soulless heart.
Devonta Smith.
That'll be good.
Good.
Aaron Jones.
I wanted him so bad this year, and I missed out.
Brees Hall.
Yeah.
Injury.
Don't do
coming
that
out.
voice. Don't do that voice. In this, Evan Ingram is my tight end.
I like it.
Okay. Drake London is my flex person.
Is that from Drake and Josh?
Yes. Rashad Bateman.
Go to London.
Here's on my bench. Rashad Bateman, J.J. Warren, Jalen Warren.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Rashad Bateman, Jalen Warren, Quentin Johnston on
Just, anti-Chargers.
I got him.
Hunter Henry, H. Henry, right? Is that Hunter Henry? Yeah.
It'll be
Hunter.
tough to follow the Patriots offense
Hunter
every
Henry.
week, but
And my backup quarterback is Derek Carr, who may see more time than the other. Okay.
Yeah.
Taylor Bass is the kicker.
Can't go wrong with
And
that.
Buffalo kicker, and Buffalo is my defense.
Great defense.
All right.
Solid.
I want you to tell me what Yahoo Sports gave me as a grade and where they predicted I'd finish based on the auto draft. that they
okay,
did.
all right. Grade wise, you don't have they really tilted towards that top 5 player. If you don't have that guy, they're gonna ding you down to at least a B minus.
Okay.
I think the bench is a little soft. I'm sorry.
Sure. They've always said about my bench.
And this is Yahoo Sports, so they really they're not forgiving.
Right.
I'm not giving you this.
You think
I'm
Yahoo
giving
Sports
you what
gave
they gave
right,
you.
This is your opinion of Yahoo Sports.
C minus.
C minus. And where do they predict I finish in a 14-team league?
8.
Okay. Jay, what do you...
Oh wait, 14 team? 9.
9.
I already know.
You already know. I'm going to tell you, they gave me an A+,
Whoa.
and they predicted that I would finish first with a record of 11-2.
All right.
What is up? I don't understand this.
I think they love the auto draft. The AI
Either they
is like
love the auto
congratulating
draft,
They want
itself.
to
Maybe they're,
pat
like,
itself.
thanking
Don't
each
hurt
other.
a robot
But
arm
again, like
patting
I
yourself
would,
on the back.
I would never morally take Deshaun Watson. Tyreek Hill is a great, I think he's a great wide receiver. He's kind of a douchebag, but like, I would never have chosen these people. Like never, ever, ever. These are players. This shows me how
Little
like I
you
know
know.
a lot about the league, but I just don't know everything about the league. This demonstrated how little I know about the
So
league.
I, in turn, drafted myself for my team. My QB is Jalen Hurts.
Great.
I mean,
My running back
Yeah.
is Saquon Barkley.
You 2 for 2.
RB2 Kenneth Walker III.
Not bad.
I had
Not
him
bad.
last season. He was
yeah,
good.
yeah, it's good.
Wide receiver Garrett Wilson.
Great.
What are you
Unreal.
doing? How is this?
Wide receiver Terry McLaurin. I know he's got turf toe,
He'll be
but
fine.
he'll be fine.
He'll be fine.
Tight end Mark Andrews.
What is going on? How did you get all these guys? I mean,
Tight end Dallas.
you got
Goddard.
Goddard and Andrews.
Yeah.
Jets defense.
Great.
Great.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, Hard
Unbelievable.
Knocks really sold it.
They sold it.
Daniel Carlson is my kicker.
Not bad.
Sure.
Not bad.
I have Dalvin Cook on the bench as a
Great.
running back.
Yeah.
Great.
I have Jahan Dotson. That is a
Oh my
surprise
God,
pick as a wide
bench.
receiver.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers, backup quarterback.
What?
Nico Collins, wide receiver. Quentin Johnston, wide receiver. Sam Laporta, tight end.
That's a
rookie.
good one. Nice
Good
sleeper.
call.
And my last wide receiver, just because I know him from Michigan, Donovan Peoples-Jones, who may or may not do anything. But
Every year he may or may not.
are you
do it.
ready? Now, guess where my league...
You would have given him like an A minus or
So A++. I like. It feels like you cheated. I have
it
no idea.
feels like
how
there's
you got
only
all these
5
guys.
people in your league.
Yeah, you must have had like. Did
No.
you? Is it a keeper or something?
No,
a dynasty where you
it's
have extra
not.
draft
Regular,
picks?
just
Right?
straight up draft.
Nope. Would it be draft recap? Like, who do they? I don't know what they graded me, but final standing projections in my league of like 10 teams. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 teams. They picked me to.
so-
When do you think? Where do you think they picked me to finish?
Because I feel like this is setting me up. I'm gonna say 8.
Sixth.
Sixth.
Yeah.
One of you is right.
Oh.
They picked me to finish 6th.
All right.
That's.
That's the brotherly symbiosis.
but his roster's
you.
so good.
My
It's
like and
Deshaun Watson.
potential to be good, and a guy like Jahan Dotson who
I know.
showed out in preseason.
I like. See, his is more fun because he has more skin in it. The computer picked mine, and I might be okay. I like managing the team, like during the during.
you
the
must
season.
if you have a 14-team league, because that's all just like stressing over who you're gonna
Who
start.
you're going to start
Yeah.
and who are they playing against and what's the defense like. I mean, listen, I enjoy it. A lot of times I try to not make a mistake and realize, and play someone who isn't playing that day. I mean,
Right.
sometimes I do that, which is just
Life
stupid,
gets
or
crazy and
Someone's
you can't-
injured. So do you know yours off the top of your head?
I mean, I probably could do
Okay.
it. All right, let's see how far I can get. Well, my quarterback is Patrick Mahomes.
Well, there you go.
So I'll
Took him in the first round.
Yeah. So
Where'd you take him? What
well,
round?
so it was a keeper,
okay, great.
up to 4 players, so I
Right.
kept him.
Sure.
I also kept running back is Travis Etienne.
Yeah.
I'm
very
pretty.
good.
I'm okay. I'm lukewarm on it.
He's okay.
all right.
He's all right. And then I got Jahmyr Gibbs.
who will be
Phenomenal.
great. Who
Phenomenal
will be great in
This is what I
Detroit
need, yeah.
because
I need to-
that's their offense. That's why I said Sam Laporta, because they're a very tight end.
Listen,
that's who
Jared
Goff
Goff is
can
the
throw
king
to.
of the check down. He's the
great.
king of the check down.
Yeah.
So, Jahmyr Gibbs is just going to be right there 5 yards out there.
He's going to have as many receiving yards as he has rushing yards every week.
This is what I believe. I did. So I didn't
He
get the
might
chance
be
at
your lead
Bijan.
back. He might do better than ATN.
I'm sure he will. I mean, I also have James Conner, which is like kind of a solid
who is from the Terminator? Is
Right,
that correct?
he is
Right,
the
yes.
Terminator.
He was
on
from the
hard,
second Terminator.
Hard Knocks, the first Jets go around with
right.
Hard Knocks. Right?
Yeah, I mean, and James Conner's an old man. He's been through cancer, but somehow he gets you 11 points a week. I'll take it.
Can we stop showing videos of James Harrison pushing 1,900 pounds? It's like, we get it. Like, he lifts up cars. He does that. It's like, I'm like, either get back in the league or stop showing those videos.
Right.
He's trying to parlay his career into a nice fitness second act. I
I'm
guess.
ready for that. Or Nugenics.
Yes.
Next.
Yeah.
Who else?
And she'll love it too.
Stop.
The whole crowd. And
Weird.
she'll love it too.
So weird.
That was my favorite one, is Doug Flutie and Frank Thomas calling a football game. I'm like,
Yeah.
who gets Frank Thomas to call a football game?
Or they're walking in the gym and like some Karen who's like 59 is like, is that the big hurt?
You don't
I'm like,
know what the big hurt
You've
is.
never used
You
that
don't know
phrase
what the
in
big
your-
hurt is.
Like they had to tell you.
Hang on a second. Is that Steve Balboni?
Is that the Babytron over there? Like, stop. You don't know who the big hurt is.
Megatron. Anyway, so who are your wide receivers?
So again, riding the Jared Goff
Sure.
wagon to success, I've got Amon-Ra.
Amon-Ra, phenomenal.
Yeah.
Will be great. Will be
I-
great.
I
Like,
was-
crushed for my friend last year.
He was my number 1 keeper.
Amazing.
He's also a Matthew Berry ride or die, which I feel like maybe it means nothing, but it
When
might
those
not.
when those fantasy, Adam Rank is a great guy to follow. Like Adam
He's
Rank,
anti-Chiefs, but
I know,
yeah.
whatever. He's very pro.
I don't know if
Chicago
he's
Bears.
anti.
He's not anti.
He's not.
not
no,
anti-
he is not anti-Chiefs. I'm telling you.
Maybe he
you
wants
are
someone else
a
to win.
paranoid, diehard Chiefs fan.
I'm still, for some reason, like 3 Super Bowl appearances, 2 wins later, I'm still like a little
You
pissed
got a
off
chip.
at the world.
You
Yeah.
got a chip.
You need that to keep winning.
You have a ship, and you have a
No,
chip.
but that's the moment, like when like Alabama, when Nick Saban comes out, or like
like,
George
it's
is
us
like,
against the world.
Yeah.
No one predicted we'd be here. Everybody predicted you'd be there.
well,
no one's
except
giving
Adam
us a
Rank.
chance.
If you go back to the tape in
So
the
you
early
need Adam Rank.
yeah,
You should love him that he puts the chip up on your shoulder.
I do and I don't. You know,
makes
it's,
you
it's
fight.
love hate.
So
Right. So then wide receiver 2, I'm still all right. So let me
Amon-Ra.
make sure. Amon-Ra, and I've got a few. I've got Deontay, who I think will, target monster. Can't get 0 touchdowns.
Talk about
again in the
Deontay
season.
Wilder.
Deontay Wilder, huge wide receiver who's
Best take
Yeah.
I've ever heard about Deontay Wilder was Jay Moore, who said, apparently you never need to work out your calves ever again. If you see
Yeah, so
Deontay
top
Wilder,
heavy.
no calves whatsoever, just
Yeah.
a straight bone straight down.
yeah,
Yeah.
literally, you see his bone.
All right,
he's like a candy apple shape.
exactly. So, all right, tight end. Who's your tight end?
Tight end end is Dallas Goedert.
Beautiful.
Boom.
There you go.
And I love it. I mean,
you go.
you've got Hurts and Goddard.
Yeah.
I just feel like
Yeah, so
Hurts,
now I can root for them to connect.
Yeah, and they do. I loved
Yeah.
him in the Super Bowl, and it was a keeper, so everybody got all the good ones. And
So
it was,
I'm using him as a flex. That's how much I like him.
Yeah, right, 'cause you have
Him and I have
Andrews,
Mark
too.
Andrews. So like
and Laporta
yeah.
in case those guys go down. The truth is that can we just talk not to digress
No,
but to
yeah.
progress forward. But that Super Bowl last year, I know you were in it and you were stressing like a crazy person throughout the end of that game.
But for the casual fan who didn't have skin in the game, great
that was,
Super Bowl.
In comparison to the dumb Rams Patriots Super Bowl of a few years ago that was like
No
too good a
scoring,
defense.
yeah.
Like they were too good a defense. I'm like, you shouldn't have this good. I don't want to see two good defenses. I really don't want to see that in a Super Bowl. That's
You want to see a
terrible.
That was
shootout? I mean,
disgusting.
I even liked the Atlanta up by 28 points, then Patriots come back and win.
Yeah, that's
like I
a
even
great-
like
It's just
that.
crazy.
Yeah.
Craziness.
You feel like something's happening.
Yeah.
Again, the best football. The two best NFL games were playoff games. The two best ones ever was, and I think we said this on your podcast, the Miami Dolphins San Diego Chargers game where
Yeah.
Kellen Winslow had 167 yards and blocked a field goal, and that one where the Chargers won and they had to carry him off the field. And then the Kansas City Chiefs Buffalo Bills game. Those are the two best games in NFL history. Why? Because they were shootouts.
Yeah,
Wasn't the Frank Reich against the Oilers? Wasn't that a
That was
playoff
a good
game
comeback.
as well?
Oh, the Bills Oilers game? Yeah.
35-3, they're losing,
Right.
and then they come back. But
30.
I mean, or no, 35.
I loved Warren Moon back then.
Me too.
Yeah.
I wanted to write a children's book called Good Night, Warren Moon.
It's just
Still time.
People putting to bed. So you have a great team. You have a really good team. I like it. And who's your defense? Do you remember?
Defense, I picked the Saints because every quarterback on their schedule is either first year or established terrible.
Great.
Okay. That's good thinking.
That's
That's knowledge
That
thinking.
is
I'm not-
second level. You're an offensive lineman who just got to the second level, and now you're blocking linebackers.
It's
so
like when you get deep enough into it, you're starting to look at what week is everybody on their bye?
are you looking at weather patterns at any point?
I mean, if we could see that far into the future, I
even if
would.
they're playing in a dome.
there's things can be the drive over can
Right.
affect,
I mean,
yeah.
you might have less fans there,
Absolutely.
because of the weather.
Yeah.
I love it. So okay. So you're gonna do well in your fantasy league this year. But let's just talk about excitement levels as we are on the precipice of this season. I do think the Aaron Rodgers story in New York. I thought they were a quarterback away, and they could have even. I'm not even going to say they Kirk Cousins or Ryan Tannehill their way forward, but
Now you have a guy.
their quarterback play was so inept last year, and I actually think that kid's gotten better this year
Because he's there,
right?
yeah.
Because
underneath there.
he
Yes.
doesn't have to be the guy.
Which, by the way, if you're the Jets organization, you say to yourself, we just brought in the greatest quarterback coach ever for the future of our team.
Yeah. Now that could all be Hard Knocks propaganda. It's worrying me a little because
you're
we
watching-
always get amped.
So
Except you
what they're
watch him.
saying-
You watch what he did in the preseason. I know it's
But the
preseason.
was
the
good.
knock on Aaron Rodgers right now is that he is not familiar or as familiar with the AFC when it comes to
Yeah.
defenses and whatnot. He's not as familiar, so he's going to have to learn. And
So
it's-
first game they're playing Buffalo. Am I right?
I can't wait for
That
I
game
believe in
Monday
the Jets.
night. I believe in that.
And I think they'll win that game.
You
I really
think the
do.
Jets are going to win that game?
People are they still think the Bills are the Bills from 2 years ago, from that 36-33 loss. And it was a lot. And I think it hurt. You could see the players on the field
Right.
losing the peak of their career, hitting it, and then you can see them losing steam for the next 2 years.
I just love Josh Allen. He reminds me of who's the guy who was on Parks and Rec, who did all the Galaxy.
Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt. He's like Chris Pratt, but 6'5".
Yeah.
He's like a 6'5" Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
And he's funny. He's cool. He's so good for the community. Do you think he's Jim Kelly 2.0? I mean, I don't
Better
know.
than that.
I mean, I think he's better than that, but Jim Kelly took him to the Super Bowl.
Right, but they're better
Four
teams.
times, was it?
But the Joe Burrow Cincinnati Bengals, Patrick
Chiefs.
Mahomes Kansas City Chiefs, I would even say the Trevor Lawrence
Sure.
Jacksonville Jaguars have to be taken seriously. That's okay. We just named four the best team. It's
And your guy Deshaun Watson,
Deshaun. I mean,
who you love.
no. I mean, listen.
Who you have
I said
supported from day
Stop
one.
it. Stop it. I say and I say Pittsburgh. I said on your podcast, Pittsburgh was my sleeper team.
I like them too,
Pickett to Pickens and Pickens and Pickett. These are good. I think they're going to be really good, and Mike Tomlin's like one of the best coaches out there.
Certainly
Yeah.
will be a good defense.
Yeah, they'll win 9, and then Pickett, if he's good, will give him an extra 2.
Wow. That's amazing.
But if
And
he's
I
not,
don't disagree
9.
with that.
That's
Yeah.
saying a lot.
Pickett and Tomlin will give them an extra 2.
Tomlin is worth
Tomlin's-
9 wins.
So he is.
With the right
his
guy running their
intelligence,
system.
Yeah.
his intelligence and his football acumen will give them a winning season.
I mean, he dragged Ben Roethlisberger's corpse to 9 wins.
He
He
dragged
did.
Ben Roethlisberger's corpse away from a 13-year-old girl in the bathroom. So the thankfully, so the idea though, what about let's go back to the NFC. The Detroit Lions, who made a compelling case. I mean, who doesn't love Dan Campbell? Made a compelling case last year for, okay, this is a program arrow pointing upwards. You have a Detroit. You have 2 guys, 2 skill
Yeah.
players on your fantasy team.
So
and you
know,
chose
so
them.
that's
They're
how
my
you
top
know.
2.
So that's how you know a team is starting to emerge when they have pieces that fantasy owners are saying,
Want.
"I need that piece, I need that piece," because those are the game-changing guys that in all these years past where the Lions have been in these, it's 22, 20, 25, 21 or whatever, 28, 27 going into the last minute and a half of the game, and the Lions get the ball. They have not had that player, that guy, that whomever, that piece to get them 14 yards. Now, you might say Megatron, fine, those people a little bit along the way, yes. But, like, they haven't had, like, multiples. They haven't had options.
Jameer Gibbs
Yeah.
opens it up.
Jameer Gibbs opens it up. Amon
and-
St. Like, all those guys.
And Montgomery's on the team, and he's a
Montgomery's on
good
the
goal
team.
line. He'll be the Jamal Williams. He might end up getting like 15 touchdowns somehow.
Yeah.
So you got them, and then on the defensive side of the ball, you have a guy like Aiden Hutchinson, and you have the rest of the who sets the tone defensively in terms of attitude. I'm not saying he's the best in the league, but he's definitely like as a rookie came in and was like, I'm going to make a mark, and he's only going to get better.
Well,
So
that's Michigan bias also.
Sure.
Just
Agreed.
be honest with the people about.
Yeah, be honest.
I see. I'm rooting for their defense to be bad. As a fantasy player,
Sure.
I want my 2 offensive studs to have to keep going out on the field and outscore teams.
But they're going to keep
they'll have
they're
to.
going to
Yeah.
keep they're going to keep the foot on the gas because
But you look at their division, the NFC North, and
Soft.
you're like, it's soft. I mean, yes, Minnesota will probably win a bunch of games.
Maybe.
but maybe
Chicago.
But Chicago, are we buying the Justin Fields hype or
Just him. Like only him and no one
Justin.
else on the team. Yes, Justin.
Justin.
This Justin. That's all they have. And then Jordan Love. I've never seen him play one good game.
They're
At least
saying
you've
he's
seen
ready.
Fields.
They're saying he's ready.
That's a lot. Everybody's ready in preseason. Everybody's taking a step forward in best shape of their lives.
Best shape of their life. No
Yeah.
no fat. All
Never
muscle.
felt better. Never felt better.
All lost weight was fat. All gained weight is muscle.
And then week 1, everybody gets injured, and all the best teams win.
you just all the.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, right.
Although, I mean, can there be a not great quarterbacked team, kind of like a Tennessee, that has other things, a defense and a running game that can emerge? Or is this like, this is a quarterbacks league? The Jets are now in the mix because they have a good quarterback. Yes, they had a great defense, and yes, they have good running backs. But like the Jets are now in that mix of great quarterbacks that are leading teams. Like, where are we in terms of that?
With the Jets' defense, they should have made the playoffs last year, right?
Right.
I mean, that defense was awesome to watch. I don't know if they were. I don't know what the stats are. I think they maybe were like 5th or 6th,
Right.
Like not number 1, but still watching them, you realize they were a quarterback away. So even if you build a great defense, you're going to end up having to shop for a Aaron Rodgers, or I guess next season will be Kirk Cousins or whoever it is
Maybe.
that.
I'm trying
Shador
to think.
Sanders or somebody who shows up.
Shador Sanders.
You never know.
I mean,
Listen,
You need it.
McCarthy.
Yeah, so they do need someone who can, and it might ostensibly it's someone who's played in the league for a little while who kind of knows what they're doing.
yeah.
But I mean, I look at teams like, I'm like, the Giants are a really good team, but are you going to put it on the shoulders of like Daniel Jones is so far down the pecking order of quarterbacks that you want in important games.
Yeah.
He's just so far down.
Like
Dak Prescott too. I mean, he's a good quarterback, but he's so far down the ones where you're like, I want to put this all on Dak's shoulders.
He doesn't. I don't know if he has it. He might have had it for a couple seasons and then he sort of lost it.
Might have had it for a couple games.
I put
Maybe,
Tua
yeah.
above him. Tua to me is like, obviously he's injury prone and the concussions and he's little. And I mean, he's as small as we are, but like, for Christ's sake, Tua is more exciting and he has more of an opportunity.
And he's a judo master now.
Is
he knows
he a
how
judo
to
ma-
fall.
Okay, good.
That was what he was doing all offseason, was learning
how to fall.
the technique
And
of how not to get it, not to
hit your
slam
head
his head
on the
on
turf.
purpose.
Why was he doing it on purpose?
He's crazy.
So right before as we start this season right now, you obviously are going to pick your Chiefs to go all the way, but who are they playing in the playoffs? Who are they playing in the championship game? Who makes it? And then who from the NFC side?
I'll give you my chalk pick that I just it's just sitting in my brain and I just really feel it.
But then tell me sleeper team that might come and upset the apple cart.
I've got my chalk pick, which includes the Chiefs, and then I've got a pick that honestly I would take and be overjoyed as a fan to watch. So Chiefs 49ers, I think the rematch happens.
Yeah.
I just,
you believe in Brock Purdy enough.
I think
you
he's
don't believe in the NFC enough. What
the
is
NFC is
bad.
So bad.
Yeah.
And without Aaron Rodgers, who are you even looking? We're talking up Jared Goff, and he's good.
He's good.
But he'd be
below
Kenny Pickett in the AFC?
But
maybe
he's got to go to
Kenny
Candlestick and play.
Sure. 3Com? What is it now?
I don't know.
Levi's?
Qualcomm.
Everything is Oracle, so whatever.
Yeah,
it's probably a wing of Oracle.
Yeah. Oracle Caesars.
Levi's Stadium, all right?
So AI Stadium.
Right.
Yeah.
So
so there's that pick,
Yeah.
and it doesn't excite. I mean, of course I want it as
And
a
the
Chiefs fan.
Chiefs win
It doesn't
because
excite
they're
me. It
better.
doesn't excite the fans.
sure.
Give me as just a beautiful redemption Super Bowl for all involved, a feel good Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
The last two Hard Knocks teams, Jets, Lions.
Ah, my God.
Who says no to that?
So this is the thing. So as St. Louis baseball Cardinals fans, and Aaron, our producer, understands as well, there's a moment when the Cardinals are having a terrible season this year. They just won their 60th game, and we bet that they wouldn't win 60 games this year.
Now
That's
we
how-
owe Aaron
We're like the Kansas City Royals of this year, or
Right.
all years, but except that aren't 14, 15. I can still turn around and be like, you know what? That 11 series. I know it's like 12 years ago now, but that 11 series, I'll dine on that forever. You just went to 5 championships. If for some reason you don't make it this year, and those are the teams that you just described that were in it,
You would find a way to be excited.
I would not need to find a way to be excited. I would be excited. My motto on our podcast this year is, we can't win them all.
that's right.
We can't win them all. I'm fine if we don't
That's
win this
the
one.
cockiest take ever.
You
That's
have
so
some.
like
Here, we'll let you have some.
embarrassment of riches.
We need to win more, but we can't win them all.
Here,
We're gonna let you guys.
We'll let
Somebody
you
else
have
have
some.
fun.
Yeah.
Well, the crazy thing is that injuries pop up to your key players. As we're sitting here right now, and Travis Kelce may or may not play, and we don't know how many weeks he's going to be out. That dude is the game changer. That dude is the
game
breaker, game changer, 115, 120 yards, touchdown catches, contested catches. He's impossible to guard. What are you going to throw on him? A safety or a linebacker? No fucking way.
Good on SNL.
Great on
funny,
SNL.
funny.
Peyton Manning-esque in his sketches.
Yeah.
The American Girl sketch goes down in history as one of the best. You know, for athletes, not the best overall, but the best for athletes, he is, and we met him. He's a great dude and really fun and a cool guy. But I just think like injuries happen.
Yep.
It proves how hard it is to make it back as many times.
And
as
what
you
an
guys have.
amazing
Yeah.
feat it's been that you've done it the way you have. And
I have
when I
done
say
it.
you, it
Yeah.
is
Straight up,
specifically
Danny
you.
Solomon's
You
fully
should take full
responsible.
credit for all of their wins.
I fought through injury.
You
I
did.
had,
So
I,
that-
I had
you
a
had a
little bit of
nagging
tendinitis
hammer.
from exercising once
and tinnitus.
So when
from screaming at my wife.
listen,
Shh, Pat is on.
not in front of Pat.
Not in front of Pat.
So there is the moment where sports fans, as we head into the season, say, look, we have a lot of talent this year. We have a lot of talent. You are not part of the we. That's like when a waitress or a waiter at a restaurant is like, I have a Branzino.
You don't have a
it.
Branzino. The restaurant has it. You don't have it.
You don't have it.
We've got a lot of talent coming back.
We got a
on
lot
our
of speed
defense.
this year. You
It's
don't
not your
have
team.
shit. Unless you're talking about your two kids and you've gotten their times under like
My son's running a 15-second
4-2.
40.
All right,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, we'll see what it is. All right, let's take a break.
Take a break. We'll come back. We got quick hits. Danny Solomon from the great podcast. Sorry, We Love Football is with us. You got to subscribe to that. We'll be right back. Hey guys, welcome back to the show. Danny Solomon is with us. You can follow. Does the podcast have a? Okay, so
We got the socials on Twitter X. We've got it at Sorry We Love NFL.
great.
And then the Instagram is at Sorry We Love Football.
And your handles so people can follow you.
Danny Solomon. This is my trick because there are other Danny Solomons.
Many Danny Solomons.
Less, I think, deserving of the handle. But
right.
so I'm at Danny
earn it.
Solomon, Solomon, and then I had to add another N.
Oh,
So
another
it's
N.
Danny Solomon. And,
No.
Pam and
For those people who want to, if you're in the Detroit area, the Ann Arbor area, we're going to be. Oh, we have a show in Omaha on
Thursday, last night.
last night. We had a great show last night.
Thank you to all who came out.
Tonight we are in Ann Arbor for one show. Only one show
Tonight and two shows tomorrow night, Saturday night on game night. We'll be there at the Ann Arbor Comedy Showcase, one of the best clubs. It's the first club we ever really
got our sort of continual starting point from. When we were in college, we performed there a lot. We love the club. We love the people who run it. Support the club by supporting us. It's a great night. It's a great way to do it. If you're in the Detroit area.
If you're at the Michigan game, here's the deal. The first show's at 7:15. It may sell out, but what we're saying is get your ticket now and do that. If you're like, I hate traffic. I hate leave your car parked, come over to the club downtown and hang out and laugh for like 2 hours and a half. Then go get in your car and you have no traffic on the way home. I mean, it's a perfect way to do this. Or if you want to come to the Late Show, go grab a bite and then come over. Ann Arbor Comedy Showcase. Just check it out. I think it's aacomedy.com.
Yep.
You can check it out and get the tickets there. Please, we'd love to see you and sell all of these shows out. It would be fantastic. And then if you're in LA, we got tons of great shows. The next week, we're doing our Taggart show at the Comedy Store on Wednesday, the 13th, with amazing guests. Greg Fitzsimmons, Ian Carmel, Eddie Pepitone, Melissa Villasenor, Jamie Lee, all these great comedians. Then on the 18th, we're doing Taggart at Largo, which is an amazing place, an amazing venue with Patton Oswalt, Fortune Feimster, and two huge guests that we are not allowed to announce. But we can tell you it's going to be amazing. Yeah. There you go. Supersklars.com. Get all that stuff together. Let's get into some quick hits, shall we?
Let's do it.
What the hell is going on with the Georgia Bulldogs and driving? God, idiots.
It's like me playing golf.
Jalen Carter drops down because, I don't know, he was racing someone and killed a coach and another player. Because he didn't kill him, but like what he was doing, the recklessness, because he killed him as much as the press killed Princess Diana, right?
Yeah.
If you want to like start to place blame and whatnot, just irresponsible.
How can they drive so beautifully down the field over and over again during the game and not
yet
be able
not
to
know how to
drive on the road?
So once that happens and you're a program, you got to be like,
We got to watch out for this. We better be on top of our driving
if
shit.
you get a ticket, you're off the team. We have enough 5 stars behind you.
A moving violation.
Right, a moving violation.
Yeah.
Parking violation, we don't care. But a moving violation,
You should be
you're
gone.
off the team.
Gone skis.
You can try out next year and you can show me that you can go to driving school and all that other stuff. But like, you are off the team.
Sayonara.
We have enough 5 stars behind you. They've recruited better than anybody. It's
Goodbye.
like, it sucks. Recently, Georgia football coaching staff member Jarvis Jones was arrested on charges of reckless driving and speeding less than 24 hours before the 2-time defending champion Bulldogs season opener last week. So he's on the staff. So if you're on the staff telling your players, please don't drive fast.
Jarvis Jones, by the way, does sound like a movie name of a football player. Like,
like he's on the Miami Sharks.
yes.
the Miami Marauders. Jones, a former All-American linebacker at Georgia who played 4 seasons for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Do you remember him?
Yeah, and that wasn't that long ago that he was playing, so I can see why he still wants to go fast.
I guess, but is the Bulldogs player connection coordinator under Kirby Smart. So he's like not a coach of a specific position group, but whatever. He's a player. You are still on staff. This is like, it blows my mind that
Bro, you're lucky to be there. What are you doing?
Someone dies, you got to stop this stuff.
Did they? I love in these stories they always give the miles per hour, and it's always just something so outlandish, like
80 and a 40.
Yeah,
right.
He was you want to guess how much bond he was released on? Guess a dollar
In
amount.
Georgia, I bet it's okay to commit a crime in Georgia.
So
Maybe
what do you
10
think?
grand.
What do you think?
$5,000.
$2,400.
Wow.
There will be internal discipline, said Kirby Smart, which is code for we're not doing anything about this. We'll
I'm
tell
gonna
him.
chew you out.
Yeah.
Well, I'll pay for we'll get a booster to pay for you to get out of this. You don't even have to put out any of your own money. It's just all right. Oh, Twitter, you never fail to deliver a fail once a college football season starts. University of Central Florida Sports Department on Friday issued an apology to Kent State over a controversial social media post a day after the schools went head-to-head. UCF Athletics, all they got is Twitter, right? All they have is their thing. Said in a statement, Terry Moharger is vice president and director of athletics, apologized to Kent State. You should never have to come out and give the apology.
Anytime you're apologizing to a whole school
For the unfortunate
you done
post.
screwed up.
Which was made following the Knights' 56-6 win over the Kent State Golden Flashes. Paired with a photo showing UCF quarterback John Rees Plumlee on the phone, the post said, "Someone call the National Guard."
Yeah. I was waiting for it because I was like, is there going to be a gun involved?
4 dead in
Clock
Ohio.
tower?
Like, what in the world? Why? 10 soldiers and Nixon's coming.
Why? This is the point at which you're like, we shouldn't let the kid run the Twitter. We need to let the kid run
Like,
the Twitter.
I know that you think this is funny, but you are not Anthony Jeselnik, who could make that joke, who probably wouldn't even make that joke, but that's not your brand.
Right, exactly.
Okay, if you're a university, your brand can't be that tone. It just won't, and it can't. You may make that joke with your friends. You may say, "Look at this. I'm going to post this." Joke, 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 and then immediately delete it.
So
take a screenshot of
the
it.
Cincinnati Post was made with the intention to reference a famous moment from 1996 during an NFL game between the Denver Broncos and New England Patriots, the UCF statement. So they're not even owning up to it. They're like, we weren't saying, we were meant the
Other thing that no one remembers, nor do they associate with Kent State. We're ignoring the big thing.
The sideline clip, final score 34-8 in Denver's favor. Bronco tight end Shannon Sharp pretends to call the president, saying, "President, we need the National Guard. Call the dogs off. Send in the National Guard."
I do remember that clip because Tyreek Hill repeated it on our sideline a couple of years ago.
So there you go. Call the National Guard. But that wasn't in Kent State. Where the
Yeah.
National
Yeah, because
Guard
in 1970 or whatever it
Yeah,
was.
the 70, the National Guard was called to Kent State to disperse the anti-war protest, and they killed 4 people.
Just Google Kent State before you tweet anything.
Right?
If you
Yeah.
Google
By the way,
Kent,
if you say it
I'm
on
gonna
the sidelines,
I'm
it's like
going
in
to
the
Google Kent,
Yeah.
and we'll see what comes up.
Right? Clark doesn't come up. Finally, a fan at the U.S. Open openly quoted Hitler during the Zverev Sinner match. Like, what is wrong with people?
Is he coming back? I feel like everybody's quoting Hitler all
You
of a
talking
sudden.
Sinner? Yeah, he's not coming back. So Zverev, who is playing in the semifinals, heard it, looked back, had the fan identify himself, which is probably like, to me, he's pulling.
Wait, is Sinner German?
No, Sinner is Italian.
Sinner's Italian.
Zverev is German, and so he heard it and understood it, and
He was like, "That's you can't."
but he did the thing that I do now with telemarketers when they call. I don't want to be crazy off the bat. I want to lure them in and then start to like waste their time.
Yes.
So I said, "Who said that?" And he probably said it in like, who said that
yeah.
back there? And the person was like, "Oh, it was me," thinking that he's going to be on his side. He's like, "Get his ass out of here."
Yeah, it was great. It was great. And they
I know we're
yanked
at a
him.
time in this country where Nazis are feeling themselves a little bit, but like, come on. Who goes to the U.S. Open and just starts openly quoting Hitler? So Zverev lost the set, couldn't
focus probably.
Right, he shouldn't have to be weeding out Hitler.
That's how
fans.
shitty as Hitler is. He's ruining the 2023 U.S. Open.
Right?
Yeah.
Get down into a bunker, you piece of shit. Then they came back and won and beat the higher ranked Zinner. So Zinner's ranked 6th, Zverev is 12th. He came back on the power of expunging Hitler from the crowd. Get rid of the Hitler.
Yeah.
Go out on a run is what happened.
Finally, Germans abandoned this guy.
Right.
Yes.
He started singing the anthem of Hitler. That was back in the day, he explained. It was Deutschland über alles and was a bit too much. I think he was getting involved in the match for a long time, though I didn't mind it. I love when fans are loud. I love when the fans are emotional. That's what the U.S. Open is all about.
It really is.
But I think
it's the waste
Listen to this.
waste
Listen to how
management.
much, and this is going to make you love Zverev so much. In a world where everybody doubles down on stuff, he says, but I think me being German and not really proud of that history, it's not really a great thing to do. And I think him sitting in one of the front rows, I think a lot of people heard it. So I just don't react. I think it's bad from my side. So he was like, I'm not proud of German history.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm not proud of it. It's okay for me to not be proud of it. At once, didn't the German stab Monica Seles? Wasn't that an old German guy? I think it was.
Let me see.
I'm
good
not
with it.
good.
No Germans at tennis matches. They can't be in the crowd.
Steffi Graf's parents can come, but other than that, that's it. All right, there you go. We have a Patreon. We have a fantastic Patreon that we're going to break down with you. It's a video. What we do is the craziest thing that came across our
Yes, so
social
it's a
media-
deranged
Oh, okay.
German man.
Thank you. Craziest thing that came across our feed that is sports related, and we have a crazy one. You got to join our Patreon to see it. We have a special voicemail coming up on the other side of the break. Thank you, Danny Solomon. Again, we're sorry. We love football.
Aren't we? I mean, it's we're cucks, but we have just a lifelong
Football cucks
indulgence
right here. You gotta love it. And
Football done got me good.
the football done got me good, and we're on the precipice of the season. We got our fantasy teams. I can't believe mine's an A+ and yours is like a B-.
B-.
Who cares? We're about to start it. Thank you for joining us. We'll be right back with more View from the Cheap Seats.